I've replayed that night 100 times in my head. The words, the tone, the way his face changed. It was like watching myself set fire to a house while standing inside it. The worst part is, I didn't even mean it. Not really. But you can't unring a bell, and once you humiliate someone who's never given you a reason to doubt them, the damage sticks. Daniel and I had been together for 6 years, married for 4. People used to joke we were relationship goals because we made it look easy. He was the guy who sent flowers to my office just because and fixed my mom's leaky faucet without being asked. He listened. Really listened? When I talked, remembered the little things, and had this quiet confidence that made me feel safe. But somewhere along the way, that safety started to feel like monotony. I didn't see it happening at first. It was little things. The way we always went to the same diner on Sunday mornings. How he always ordered the same thing. Black coffee, eggs over easy, rye toast. The way he would turn down spontaneous weekend trips because we should plan ahead. Then my company hired a new marketing director, Claire, who was all glitter and chaos. She'd show up on Monday with stories about last-minute flights to New Orleans or 2 a.m. rooftop parties. She told me I was too young to be settling into a grandma routine. I laughed it off, but her words stuck in my head like a splinter. One Friday night, Daniel and I went to a mutual friend's engagement party. It was one of those gatherings where everyone is half drunk and showing off. New jobs, new condos, new relationships. I was standing with a group of women, and one of them asked if Daniel and I were thinking about buying a bigger house. Before I could answer, Claire. Yes, she was there too. Swooped in and said, why would she? She could do so much better. She was talking about the house, but in the alcohol-fogged moment, I took it as a challenge. Better? I said, laughing. Please, I could do better in a heartbeat if I wanted to. I don't know why I said it. Maybe I wanted to look bold in front of Claire. Maybe I wanted a reaction from Daniel, to see if he'd get jealous or possessive. He was standing right behind me. The look on his face wasn't anger. That would have been easier. It was hurt. Deep, quiet hurt. He didn't say a word in that moment, just put his drink down and walked away. I chased after him, saying, I was joking, but he just shook his head and said, that's the kind of joke you only make if you've thought about it before. We drove home in silence. I kept expecting him to blow up, to argue, to demand I explain myself. But Daniel wasn't like that. Instead, he gave me something worse, distance. Over the next few weeks, I felt the shift. He still did all the right things. Took the trash out, asked if I'd eaten, made sure my car had gas. But his warmth was gone. No more random hugs from behind while I was cooking. No more late-night talks in bed. It was like living with a polite stranger. Then came the night he didn't come home. He texted that he was crashing at his friend Alex's place after watching the game. No explanation, no invitation for me to join. Just absence. A few days later, I ran into Alex's wife at the grocery store. She asked how I was doing, then hesitated and said, you know, you've got a good one. Don't let him slip away. The implication was clear, other people could see what I was risking, even if I was too stubborn to admit it. 2 weeks after that, Daniel sat me down. He was calm, but there was a finality in his voice I'd never heard before. I've been thinking about what you said at the party, he began. About how you could do better. Maybe you can. But I think you should go find out. Because I can't be with someone who believes that about me. Even as a joke. I started crying, telling him I didn't mean it, that I was just trying to be funny. He shook his head. You meant enough of it for it to come out in front of our friends. And I can't unhear it. He moved out the next day. At first, I expected him to come back. We'd had arguments before and always found our way back to each other. But weeks passed, and the only updates I got were through mutual friends. They'd tell me he seemed happier. Lighter. That he'd started going to the gym more, spending time with his cousins, even signing up for a cooking class. 3 months after the split, I saw him at a friend's barbecue. He looked good. Really good. Fit, relaxed, wearing a shirt I'd bought him years ago that he'd never worn for me. He was talking to a woman I didn't recognize, and she was laughing in that unguarded, head thrown back way that I used to laugh around him. A friend leaned over and whispered, "That's Emily. She's amazing." They've been spending a lot of time together. I forced a smile, but inside I felt like I'd been punched. Over the next few weeks, it became impossible to ignore the whispers. Friends would say things like, "Emily's so good for him," or "they just fit." One night, Claire, of all people, texted me out of the blue, "I think you messed up big time." It hit me then, everyone could see it. I hadn't just lost Daniel. I'd lost the best man I'd ever have. And the worst part? He never once tried to rub it in my face. No gloating, no passive-aggressive posts. Just quiet dignity, the same way he handled everything. Now, when people ask why my marriage ended, I tell them the truth. I tell them I said something cruel to someone who didn't deserve it, and instead of fighting for me, he chose to protect his self-respect. And I can't even be mad about it. Because deep down, I know. If the roles were reversed, I'd have done the same thing.